Well, hi there, I'm Noah Bradley, and this is Handmade House TV, and I've got carpenters making noise in the background that started construction only moments after I set the camera up. Actually, while I was setting the camera up, it was peaceful until then. Well, hi there, I'm Noah. Well, hi there, I'm Noah Bradley, and this is Handmade House TV. On today's episode, I've got some exciting news. At least it's exciting news for me, and that is that today I'm receiving a couple of loads of the stone that I'm going to use on my future home. So stay tuned for that. Well, all right, on today's episode, let's talk about stone. If you see behind me here, you can see a couple of pallets of leftover stone from the construction of the stone columns that I recently built along my driveway as part of the Stonemason Academy course, where I share with you everything you need to know about a proper laying of stone in order to get the most aesthetically big bang look that you possibly can out of stonework. And for those two stone columns, I ended up purchasing a total of four pallets worth of stone, each having about 1.5 tons of stone on them. So that was about 6 tons of stone, and we ended up using a little over somewhere between 3 and 4. And so this is the stone that we had left over from it. And if you go over and examine the stone, you can see that what's left over is basically scrap. That I ended up paying a premium for stone, buying it at a local stone lot. I was very pleased with the finished result with the stone that I used. But nonetheless, when you purchase at a stone lot, you pay a premium price, and it never fails that you end up with quite a leftover pile of less than pleasing stone when you get done with it, which obviously drives the price per ton of it up. Always my preference in working with stone is if I can use, first of all, if I can gather it myself in nature. When you do that, it's basically free other than the consideration of your own labor, or perhaps you need to give Mr. Farmer or Mr. Woods owner a few dollars for the privilege of gathering stone on their land if you don't have it readily available on your own. Now, on my property here, it's a small parcel of land, and it's not one with a lot of stone on it. And the stone that's here more or less has set the precedence for the color and type of stone I have, which is kind of a sandy gray colored stone, which blends in well, I think, with the environment here. So that's what I was looking for. But now, if I don't purchase it from a lot, if I don't gather it from my own property, my choice throughout my career in building homes and using just a lot of stone, I've kept between 2 and 4 full-time stonemasons busy for decades, building stone on all of our projects. Beyond a doubt, the single greatest ingredient in improving the look of a home is stone. And so the majority of the stone that I have used has been salvage stone from previous structures, whether it's old houses, old barns, or what have you. And in doing so, I tend to be able to get the first picks of stone. It's the stone that was gathered by people that were first available to stone. It is stone that is often worked, already shaped, which means it cuts down the labor and moving forward on it. It has an aged patina to it. And generally I can get it for a much better price. So when it came time for me to start looking for stone for my home, knowing that I have a stone addiction problem, and that I wanted plenty of stone, I started shopping at various markets for who might have a readily available pile of stone. And stone is a good idea too when you're looking for stone to get, first of all, more than you need, more than you possibly imagine. For one thing, I typically figure out how much I want on a project, and I get twice what I need. It improves the efficiency of the masons if they have more to choose from. It improves the quality of the finished product as well, and generally it's a good thing to have leftover stone when you finish up the construction of your home, that you can always you have stone available for other stone projects. The more stone projects you extend beyond the reach of your home, the more attractive your entire home place looks. And also that you never want to run out of stone, that if you don't get enough, there's no guarantee that the stone that's available, if it's available, will match the stone work that you've already put into place. So I went out and was searching for some salvage stone, and today, in just a few minutes here, I expect to see large trucks pulling in my driveway. I've got 2 dump truck loads coming today, and that I will have 2 coming later in the week, for a total of a little bit over 100 tons worth of stone. Typically on a project, I use at least 30 ton on a home, and I have used up to 250 ton on various projects. So it's a nice, good middle ground. And the stone I've acquired came from a school that was built in the early 1920s, I believe, in Pennsylvania. And there was a high school, and it had outlived its usefulness according to those in power, and so they decided to destroy it and build something new. And so I'm getting the leftover from it. And the type of stone that I'm getting it's a limestone, and I've used limestone a whole lot in my past. Typically I've always used stone from the Shenandoah Valley limestone, which is it's a more brittle limestone. Actually, when you shape it, it can almost make arrowheads out of it. It's so brittle. It comes to such a fine, sharp corner on it. And the stone, as it comes out of the ground, is black, and when exposed to air, it grays extremely quickly. Within weeks, you're starting to see the effect. Within a few years, it's so gray you can't imagine that it was ever black. But this limestone is actually out of Pennsylvania, and I've never worked with it before. And it's gray through and throughout, and it's also more of a sandy texture, more heading toward almost marble in effect. So I'm actually looking forward to it. Some of the stone has been shaped. It was cut when it came out of the ground, actually using saws in order to size it. And the masons did quite a bit of shaping of it in order to improve the aesthetics of it. And also they did some refinement, some decorative details as well. For one, there's supposed to be a stone in there with a date carved in it of the date of the construction of the school. And also there's some ornamentation of it, some fancy cove molding here and there. And it's going to be a challenge for me in working with the stone, in that it is perhaps a little bit too refined, and so it's going to take a little bit of exercise on my part in order to bring it down from perhaps the institutional effect of being of a school and now coming into a residential home. I imagine that some of the stone, it looks fairly large, so I'm going to have to reduce the size of it. And it might be that I'll need to rough it up a bit. And typically when we find stone in nature, it's way too rough, and we have to work toward refinement of the stone in order to make it attractive or to fit into place. Each stone, regardless of how rustic it might look, it still needs some shaping in order to get a proper, beautiful, handcrafted look. So this stone being as refined as what it is, chances are I'm going to have to work backwards to rough it up a little bit. Given the choice between the two of taking a rough rock out of nature and refining it, or a refined rock and trying to rough it up, definitely labor-wise, it's easier to rough up an overly refined rock than it is the other way around. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So anyway, I hear the trucks rumbling in right now, coming down my driveway. So let's watch this. It's not very often that this happens in one's life, is that you get dump trucks worth of stone. I'm always challenged in exactly where to put the stone when it arrives on a site that you, if you're bringing in stone before the construction of your home, you don't want to put stone in the way. And clearly, since it's heavy, you don't want to put it any further away from the construction of, say, if you're building a fireplace, you don't want to put it any further away from the fireplace than what you have to. That rock is heavy and it's challenging to work with, and I look forward to sharing with you how I move stone around and how I get it into place in upcoming episodes.
Wow.
Oh, these are really sweet. Whenever I buy rock, what I'm really looking for are sugar cubes or shoe boxes or microwave boxes. The more square, the more ideal in shape, the better it is. The last thing you want to look for, and when you get a load of stone, is a bunch of bowling balls or a bunch of irregular shards. You want a lot of rectangles. Well, all right, that wraps it up for today. Thank you for joining me for the delivery of my stone. Before we go, I'd like to thank 10 new members of the Handmade House Guild. Yeah, 10 this week. I've really fallen behind, and a lot of people are signing up for the guild, seeing the value of all of the courses in there that I share with people. And these 10 people are Christina Johnson, James and Linda Labordi. Maybe it's Laborde. Boy, I sure apologize for my pronunciation of names. And anyway, James and Linda, thank you much. Arthur Lindaker, Bruce Thomas, Eric Foster, Robert Morris, James Ramser, Jeffrey Culver, Nikki Cunningham, and Whitney Robinson. Thank you so much, guys, for joining and for all your feedback on all the courses within the Handmade House Guild. Look forward to sharing with you the further construction of using this stone on my upcoming home. It's only going to add more content to it, and I'll soon be inviting members of the guild, if you want to join me here in person to work on my home, to actually put these stones into place on my home. So look forward to talking to you guys later. We'll see you here next week on Handmade House TV. You guys take care.